back to Doctor Who, a franchise that milks the hell out of David Tennant out of an act of desperation, guised as paying fan service to loyal fans the creators now hate for some reason. I only guess this because they keep provoking them at every turn, every chance they get. But setting aside the articles that broadly label all fans criticizing the show as bigots and steering clear of Russell T Davies clapping back at those who supported him, but genuinely had criticisms, let's focus on judging Wild Blue Yonder as a standalone Doctor Who episode. So the scene opens with England 1666, and with a very handsome man. We learn apparently that he is Sir Isaac Newton.
Is he now?
Now, I don't care how delicious this guy looks. I can tell you one thing for sure. That is not how Sir Isaac Newton looked. There are pictures and paintings of him everywhere all over the internet, and you don't have to look very far, so I'd imagine for people having grown up learning history, that this would be a very odd representation of Sir Isaac Newton. Kind of like if they were to tell Michael Jackson's story from he was a kid and depicting him as a little blonde boy. But let's ignore their blatant attempt at putting on their best Jada Pinkett impression of slow roasting actual historical figures and move on to the story, because this is only a very small section of what will turn out to be a very intriguing sci-fi adventure.
Of course. He's supposed to be dead.
Doctor and Donna find themselves crashing into the tree of Sir Isaac Newton. Don't know how that tree didn't splinter into a million pieces because of how freaking fast they were going. I didn't expect it to just stop like that, but then again, it is a time machine, so I guess? Fully aware of the historical significance, they decide, know what, let's break every rule of time travel. Not that they haven't done so before, and play coy with their words. In a tongue-in-cheek manner, they subtly hint to Sir Isaac Newton about the gravity of the situation, slyly acknowledging that they're well aware that he's a genius behind the theory of gravity.
Wait a minute. Apple tree, apple? Man holding an apple in 1666, are you Sir Isaac Newton?
So no other men held apples around that time? Did Sir Isaac Newton invent holding the apple? Nobody else ate apples around that period in time? I find that so hard to believe. I get what they were going for, but it comes out sounding really stupid.
Mr. Isaac Newton, that you, above all others, can appreciate the gravity of the situation.
I mean, I thought he invented the theory, or at least started down that path when the apple fell on him, and then he started questioning why he did that. But they make it seem like, in this scene, he comes to realization of this eureka moment that is unbeknownst to the rest of us. I don't know, unless I'm forgetting my history. As the Doctor and Donna depart, he struggles to recall the word they used, and mistakenly calls it
Gravity.
What an idiot!
Yet Donna and the Doctor face more pressing issues as their TARDIS spaceship is stranded on a larger spaceship.
I'm a mechanic.
The Doctor resorts to placing his sonic screwdriver on the exterior of his police box to attempt repairs. I still have yet to understand why a Time Lord who has been throughout time and space and is billions of years old would not account for liquid spilling on his TARDIS components. That sounds so dirty. I'm just saying, being how clumsy Donna is, and the fact that he's had other companions, I find it just very hard to believe that this wouldn't have been an issue or something that he thought of before. For crying out loud, what if he landed in a body of water, and the door of his TARDIS flew open and forced water to come in? I mean, by that logic, this thing should have been destroyed a long time ago if that's the case. But of course, we must make drama and invent problem for plot. Doctor Who's always been corny to that degree, but I did find that a bit stupid and wish they tried a little bit harder with the writing. But anyway, one thing I gotta say, I do like the sci-fi feel of this episode. There's this horror sci-fi mystery vibe to it, and you enjoy it right before the stupidity peeks through. Donna and the Doctor always feel like they're being watched, although the Doctor and Donna can't sense it. Then they hear the TARDIS activating and they haul ass, but when they come back, the TARDIS is gone. So it turns out that the TARDIS had a built-in mechanism thing to leave the area when it's in danger and then come back when it's safe, which must mean that this quiet abandoned spaceship was a very hostile environment. But why? It's not like they're in immediate danger, but the TARDIS knows what it's doing, I guess. I just keep thinking about all the situations in which a TARDIS was literally in a hostile environment and chose not to leave, but whatever. Now they're both stuck on this mysterious ship bantering with each other. And like I said, I do appreciate the old style mystery sci-fi vibe. The atmosphere is very creepy with this episode, and the suspense is top tier. It's reminiscent of the Weeping Angels episode with Amy Pond. That was creepy. So periodically, the ship says some random word, it rearranges itself, like the freaking Cube movie, and they pop out a little go-kart and find an old rusty robot that takes a step forward after the word is uttered. And I already made a guess of what was going to happen concerning this robot.
Was it me, or was Isaac Newton hot?
He was with me. He was so hot. Don't know him now.
I was never that far from the surface, mate. I always thought...
This is was really annoying to me. I know it might not be a big deal to everybody else, but I find it highly irregular and annoying when they take characters that were already established or had an implication that they were one orientation and then just like rewrite or retcon it and claim, no, guess what? He was gay all along. Remember Captain Jack Harkness?
You're fine. You're just fine. The tractor beam can scramble your head just a little. Hello?
Damn. Dude, he was so freaking hot. Everybody loved him. And he openly acknowledged and embraced his diverse attractions.
Hey, it's all right. Breathe deep. I've got you.
Captain Jack Harkness. And who are you?
Martha Jones.
Nice to meet you, Martha Jones.
Oh, don't start.
I was only saying hello.
I don't mind.
Captain Jack Harkness, and who are you?
Stop it. Give us a hand with it.
Oh my god, he was such a freaking flirt. Like, he would do everything. Listen, the show did not shy away from exploring his varied relationships with individuals of different genders and even species. Captain Jack will fuck everything and everyone, and that was one of the wonderful things about him. Not that he would stick himself inside of everything, that's not what I mean. The fact that it was established that's who he was.
I'm naked in front of millions of viewers.
Absolutely.
Ladies, your viewing figures just went up.
George Wood. What are you taking your clothes off for? I'm going in. Well, it looks like the step radiation doesn't affect clothing, only flesh.
I look good though. You regenerated? This is my new form. It's a bit blue. Which means kind of hot.
Like I said, they already established who he was. If they were to bring him back and retcon him to be asexual, I'd be very angry because it's already been established.
This guy fucks, am I right? Because I'm looking at the rest of you guys, and this is the guy in the house doing all the fucking, am I right? You know I'm right. This guy fucks.
Thank you.
David Tennant's portrayal of the Doctor in Doctor Who has consistently conveyed a strong attraction to women. And I don't know why I have to say this, but there's nothing wrong with that. Like, seriously, I feel like them shoehorning this bit in maybe was a nod to the foreshadowing of the Doctor that's coming after, because I think that Doctor is gay. And if the Doctor after him is gonna be gay, fine. But why should that retroactively make David Tennant's Doctor gay from the start? Like, it was always under the surface. And I'm not a fan of how they sort of suggest that Donna is throwing that at him like an insult. While we understand that that's Donna's character, it does give the impression that she's poking fun at him for being gay or implying that he is based on her assumption. Unless I'm missing something, throughout David Tennant's tenure as the Doctor, there was never a hint or indication that he was gay. There was dudes trying to be gay for him, or actual people who were into men that were into the Doctor. But the 10th Doctor openly displayed his interest in women, exuding comfort with his sexuality. While he engaged in playful interactions and romantic relationships across time, there was never any suggestion or portrayal of him being physically involved with another dude, or male version of the species. Each of the Doctors have a different personality, and they want to take the Doctor that had a lot of girls that like him and that he's obviously like into, and then just say not only is he stupid because he's male presenting and he doesn't know anything, but sucks to be you, girls, because he was always gay. Like, dude, what?
David Tennant this, TARDIS that all night long.
Who the hell are you?
I'm the Doctor. And I just snogged Madame de Pompadour.
You're making a gay Doctor, or you're having a gay man play the Doctor. If you want him to be gay, let him be gay. You don't have to retcon the old Doctors to be gay. That's stupid.
That's stupid. Use your common sense.
And for crying out loud, please leave Jack Harkness alone. Do not bring that man back to do shit, for real. That was just a freaking nitpick. It's annoying as shit and just came out of nowhere and felt forced as hell. But that's one of the only gripes I have with this specific episode because it just felt very out of place and makes me feel a little perplexed. We don't know why David Tennant, the Doctor, has this face back. We all know why he does because they want to draw back in the old fans so they can throw hot coffee in their faces. But for what we understand, he's still David Tennant, the Doctor. He still has the same personality. He didn't come back in this body with a completely different personality or else people would hate him. So if you're using the old Doctor and bringing back this old face and he's actually him, it doesn't make any sense for him to say, oh, is that who I am now? That only happens when he has a new body. Freaking idiots, I swear. If the continuity is going to take a shit in the show, you're going to lose a lot of people. All of that being said, I really am enjoying, or I did enjoy this adventure with Doctor and the Donna. The fact that there's just the two of them, it adds to the whole mystery solving atmosphere. The entire episode gives off this escape room vibe. It's a lot of fun. There's always that sense of danger lurking nearby, the frequent cut hints at someone or something observing the Doctor and Donna without their knowledge. And then they have the reoccurring joke with mavity, which is the new term instead of gravity. And David Tennant slips up at one point saying gravity and then promptly corrects himself with mavity. And it becomes this reoccurring thing later on that basically hints to people that something's been changed. And it happened when the Doctor and Donna realized that they were at the edge of the universe. And Donna's wondering why it's so dark. And I already guessed ahead of time that it's because the light from the other stars across the universe hasn't reached their eyes yet. They're at the edge of the universe. That apparently the Doctor's never been there before, although I remember him having been, or was at the edge of time? Was he not at the edge of the universe before? I'm so confused. And maybe I'm wrong, but then again, I wouldn't put it past the show because they have so many freaking inconsistencies that I can't keep up. But this episode was actually pretty entertaining. I love it when later on Doctor and Donna are in different rooms, and then they don't realize that alternate versions of themselves have shown up and taken the other's place. So while David's been talking to Donna, he has no idea she's not really Donna until she says her arms are too long. And same thing with Donna. I feel like this whole episode could be remade into a Skinwalker creepypasta because that's what these things turn out to be, sort of. They're shapeshifters.
Where did you come from? You're not part of the ship, are you? Did you come from outside?
They claim to come from nothing and they're trying to assume shapes. And I'm sorry, the creepy factor just went all the way out the window for me in this scene. It's so ridiculous. Don't get me wrong. It's fun and entertaining, but Jesus Christ, I can't take them seriously. And that's what happens with most monsters in Doctor Who for me, except for the Weeping Angels. Even if you write them to be really creepy, it only takes a few minutes for them to not look scary at all. There are a few scenes where I think little kids are probably going to get nightmares watching this. And I can imagine as a little baby not understanding what's going on, this would terrify the hell out of them. That's a good thing. A little fear is good for the soul. But then you have these monsters that get too big because it gets cold and they're stuffed in the hallway. And after that whole Jurassic Park chasing the Jeep scene, as the episode progresses, of course, most of what takes place is us, the main characters, not knowing which one is the real one.
What do you mean? You don't know where you're from. How do you know? I'm still Donna.
You see, the unsettling aspect is that they possess the host memories, they can mimic you, and as long as they maintain their form, distinguishing between the real person and the copy becomes nearly impossible. So they acquire all your memories just by observing you. That is creepy. That's an interesting concept.
Yeah. I just couldn't keep it together.
Alright, you didn't have to explain it. The visual was enough. That would have been a great horror movie moment right there if you just never said anything and explained it like you're in a Scooby-Doo cartoon.
Auntie Iris, Mommy and Daddy. Why does he travel with someone as stupid as you?
I mean, that is a very good point. But seriously, this scene has Nightmare Before Christmas vibes, but the absurdity of it is just off the charts. A whole new generation of kids is likely watching this, and years from now, they might recall how it haunted their dreams. And oh look, it's another random see-through barrier for convenience sake. So the real Doctor and Donna are trying to figure out what these things are. They soon figure out that shapeshifters like scaring them on purpose because when adrenaline spikes, their brain activity does too, which makes it easier to copy them and makes the process go quicker. Yeah, I know, just go with it. So of course the shapeshifters want the Doctor and Donna to figure out what's going on. So then they in turn can figure out what's going on too with the ship. We realize that the captain of the ship was a freaking horsehead person. It's so hilarious that we're not supposed to assume people's genders, but somehow they assume hers. In any case, she went through the airlock to contain the shapeshifters inside. Realizing that the shapeshifters struggle to copy their host when things move very slowly, she deliberately set the self-destruct sequence for the ship to be extremely gradual. And this accounts for the slow-paced words that we heard being spoken throughout the episode, and the robot taking each step at a leisurely pace. And of course, when Doctor and Donna figure it out, the imposters do too. The suspense leading up to the robot pressing the self-destruct button of the ship was very well done and engaging. Like when the Doctor and Donna are trying not to think, I found myself trying to erase thoughts out of my own brain. And imagine what it would be like in a situation where something is reading my mind, and we'll get smarter if I do so. You know what really helps? What really helps to blank your brain is to stare at someone's eyes or stare at a point in a room and just fixate on that point. Engage your eyes with that point and then concentrate on it. For example, if you look at the letter A and just keep looking at it and think the letter A, focus on the letter A, all that exists for you is that point on your screen that says A. It's actually pretty easy. I have a very overactive brain, so I remember when I first tried this, it was almost impossible. And I imagine if you think you're gonna die, it's probably worse. They try to figure out things too, like why the wall keeps moving, what the words are, but unfortunately they eventually figure things out that the ship is gonna self-destruct. And the shapeshifters makeshift themselves an asshole so it can pucker. Horsehead Woman actually protected everyone because these shapeshifters want to go back to Earth and the rest of the galaxy or universe and wreak havoc, so she sacrificed herself so that wouldn't happen. Kind of creepy when you think about her circling the ship even in death because of the mavity field, as they mention.
We're as clever as you now. That robot won't stop us.
So just as the shapeshifters are as clever as Dr. and Donna, now they can figure out things super quickly. I also wouldn't mind seeing a sideshow of the shapeshifter people because they seem like they make a pretty good team. Yeah, this whole segment right here, though, really exciting and honestly feels like Doctor Who. And David Tennant does help with that. I already know that the wrong person is going to get back on the ship once the TARDIS comes back, because that's what always happens in these sci-fi shows whenever there's doppelgangers. Every creepypasta that I've listened to is the exact same thing. Oh no, there's two people that look alike. Hope you don't let the wrong one on and carry it back home with you, and that's exactly what happens. What in the exorcism? Are you kidding me right now? Why didn't he do that before? And here's one of the inconsistencies in this entire show. You know, while it doesn't take away from the enjoyment of the episode necessarily, it does seem a bit dumb. The Doctor says that when the shapeshifter runs out of time, the hostile action would end and the time machine would know, and it would come back.
That's not accurate. With a time machine. No.
What a crock of shit.
That's all fine and dandy. The time machine would know, and it would come back. However, the time machine, the TARDIS, comes back before the shapeshifter runs out of time. Technically, it should come back after the danger is abated, but it came back right in the time to be right inside of the danger. So which is it? And for some reason, the TARDIS is playing Off We Go Into the Wild Blue Yonder, and it was doing that from before when it was angry and before it took off. Apparently some war song or something, but I took it to also be interpreted as Wild Blue Yonder, which is exactly what the TARDIS is. Off we go into the Wild Blue Yonder. Off we go into the Wild Blue Yonder, the TARDIS is wild because it takes you everywhere, leading you on wild adventures. Or it could be talking about space. Blue Yonder could mean over there at some distance away, or space. Also considering the TARDIS is bigger on the inside. I don't know, I suppose you can make allowances for this being a noun in this case or some sort of metaphor. The Doctor, of course, like I said, this always happens, so predictable, doesn't know which Donna is which, and we knew this would happen, so we asked her, remember that story about the woman who was out of the choir and whose name was Mr. Bean, Mrs. Bean? Why was Mrs. Bean's name so funny? And I honestly felt so bad for Donna, but I knew this would happen. But the Doctor figures it out when he lets the wrong one on. I felt so bad for Donna, but I knew this would happen. But of course, we know the Doctor's gonna figure it out when he realizes that the imposter Donna's arm is too long.
Your arms are too long.
It's not nice.
So he drops her back off and gets the real Donna. Honestly, one thing I was thinking past all of this is you gotta hand it to the captain. She's a badass. Even though she's been gone for, I'm guessing, 3 years since that airlock incident, she still managed to save so many people and species, and possibly the whole universe. It's chilling to think that at the edge of the universe, there are these amorphous beings that would only ever be nothing because that's what surrounds them. However, when we or any other living thing accidentally reaches the edge of the universe, well, now they have something to copy. Otherwise, they would just have remained nothing, copying nothing and making more of nothing, rendering them completely harmless until they have something to mimic. That alone is a very haunting aspect. And someone should make a creepypasta of that, because I would listen to the hell out of it. Hell, I might even make it. Such a fantastic concept. And I don't know if it's been explored before, but it was really beautifully executed in this episode. Good job. This felt so incredibly sci-fi that it scratched every itch I had for it. And outside of Scavenger's Reign, it's the only recent watch around this time that I can with all my heart definitely say deserves the sci-fi title. Like when the Doctor turns around, he's like, yeah, your arms are too long, dude. And it was off by like a millimeter because this Donna was a 99% copy and she was a completely finished copying Donna, and the Doctor was able to pick that up. So you can pick up every minute detail like that, but you didn't know you were being watched all that time? Weird. You know, I wonder how many times the Doctor feigns ignorance or being oblivious for the sake of just having an adventure with humans. I wonder how much he lies or deceives them into thinking he's just as clueless as they are so they can feel important and like he's having an adventure with them. That would make him kind of sadistic and kind of creepy when you think about it in a weird Peter Pan kind of way. I like how he didn't even look for Donna, he just dropped it off. And then he probably already thought Donna was dead until she ran up the ship and he was like, oh well, yeah, what's going on? You know, if these things are amorphous, why would an explosion kill them? They've copied themselves into something, I get it, but I think at their core original state, they're nothing, right? Or do they cease to be nothing once they start to become something? And then throughout this episode, the special, the Doctor is also reminded about something called the flux, and we know that David Tennant's Doctor, the Doctor, is carrying a lot of guilt. I know that he has like a dark past and things that he's dealing with. I don't know what the flux is, and I think I might have missed that. Maybe it's something from the very old Doctor, but he's carrying all that guilt about that as well, and he just keeps pushing forward, burying down all his hurt and the people he's lost. It must be very difficult to live for so long and lose so many people along the way. And then at what point do you just stop feeling? But Donna wants him to open up to her and just tell her what he's been up to and what's happened to him since they've last been together. All he gives her is a lot has happened. She asks if he's okay, and he says he will be. And she says,
when? Are you dumb?
When? What kind of question is that? How the hell am I supposed to know when I'll be okay? He answers her and tells her in a million years. But seriously, how the hell would anyone know that? Why are you asking me that? Do you really expect an answer? Man, she really is stupid. So we get to see Wilf again, and it's so refreshing and sweet because it looks like something else I've seen before with the old man crying. See, like, maybe it's just me. But the adventure doesn't stop here, folks, because we do get to see that there are consequences for messing with the past. Because they come back, and there's absolute pandemonium. Everyone's fighting, planes are freaking dropping out of the sky and whatnot, and it's a really cute cliffhanger. Now, at this point of the video, it may seem a little bit weird to you and jarring, but I've already watched the next episode, and let me tell you, it was amazing. The first episode special was just freaking weird. And to be honest, I don't take that to be canon because it just felt so out of left field, like some distant offbeat fanfiction that somebody decided to throw in and it was allowed to go in because of nepotism. But this episode and the one that follows after the Giggle feels more like Doctor Who. I don't think they're the best episodes either, but the Giggle definitely had more of that Doctor Who feel. What really helps is not just the cinematography, but the villain who we see dancing in the background here, who's just enjoying himself in the midst of all of this. He, the Toymaker guy, is what really freaking makes this episode. This almost feels like a movie. That dude carries the whole episode, and I can't believe I'm saying this, even more so than David Tennant. And that's saying a lot for someone like me who absolutely loves David Tennant. Oh god, the wheelchair lady's back. First, when I watched this episode, I thought it was going to be another one of those weird sexism type of episodes. But that seemed to have all been concentrated on the first special, so thank goodness. This dude thinks he's doing? Shooting a Calvin Klein commercial, bro? What are you... Look at his face! He's so freaking tall, and he's just smoldering back there, bro. Okay, take it easy. Bring it down a notch. My favorite segment of all of this, though, is when the Toymaker guy finally makes an appearance. There's a giggle in the background that causes people to go crazy and stuff, say what they really feel, but certain people aren't affected by it. And what's scary is that the Doctor seems to be afraid of this guy. So it's an old acquaintance or old enemy who likes playing and toying with people. Honestly, this whole segment when he came in, he was just toying around with everyone and dancing to the freaking, I think it's Spice Girls or something. I like him. He gives Pennywise vibes for some reason. It was so freaking hilarious to me. Not like guffawing type of hilarious, but just, wow, this guy is the real deal. He is funny. He's charismatic. He really did a great job with portraying the villain in this. But let's not pretend that the people who created this episode didn't rip off Everything Everywhere All at Once. Because that's what this entire segment was giving, including the villain himself. Yo, he's doing the modified Pennywise dance. Look at that. He's doing the Pennywise dance, like a modified version. Everything Everywhere All at Once. Come on now. We all know, just looking at it, this is exactly where they took inspiration from. I like how one thing has a great idea and it does really well, and then everyone that comes after is like, you know what, that's really cool, let's all copy it exactly. See ya, hold tight. That was one hell of an entrance and an exit for this guy. He just came in and told them, okay, this is who I am, this is what I can do, screw you guys. Your danger is just child's play to me. And I think that was a really cool way to introduce a villain like this. And it's this episode where the Toymaker thinks he kills a doctor that he actually ends up splitting in two for a bi-generation thing. And then we get this new doctor, and that's what happens. Couldn't just be a doctor on his own, but whatever. Maybe because they changed things in the past, this is different. But even though I like the new doctor, he was a little bit awkward with his premiere, but usually doctors are. He does grow on you. He's very handsome. He does have charisma, which helps, especially coming off of David Tennant's heels. But the Toymaker goes from being this very malevolent, almost infallible or indestructible type of being, like he can never fail, to this thing that's easily defeated after they play a game and they beat him, and then he's just folded up, flattened, and placed into a box. I figured he would be around a lot longer, and maybe he will be. Maybe that's not the end of it. Because then in the next episode from this, we see that the Giggle still has an impact on the world. So not all of it's been solved. Being at the edge of time somehow, or at the edge of the universe, affected the rest of the world. Or them going back in time, Doctor and Donna, affected the rest of the world. So yeah, I won't say these are the worst things ever. I did enjoy them. This segment of the Doctor having a therapy session was very weird and came out of nowhere. I don't know, it was just weird. Then the Doctor gets a send-off because he always wanted a family, and now he is staying with Donna. And at first I really thought that there was gonna be something going on between him and Rose eventually, I guess. Because her name is Rose, and now he's staying with Donna, and that's kind of where I saw it going. Maybe they just want to leave it open-ended to see what happens. Is he actually living with them? Because I imagine if I were in Rose's situation, and this dude came to stay at my mom's house, and I'm living there, just knowing how I am, I'd be catching feelings. And everyone does, who's ever been around the Doctor. So they're just leaving it like open-ended to see maybe he'll go back, maybe he won't, but we never even got the answer as to why he still has this face. And if the Regeneration was supposed to be the answer to that, it really didn't clear up anything, so I'm still confused. Doctor Who has a habit, especially the newer Who, later newer Who stuff, seems to just come up with these concepts and ideas and never follows through on them. It's okay to have one or two things like that, but they're almost always like that. And maybe it will be completed later on or something, but as of right now, we haven't gotten the answer, and I hope they don't think this is the answer. Oh, because he had a person inside of him, he had to give birth to that person. What in the hell kind of sense does that make? Hopefully this isn't the last time we see David Tennant's Doctor, because this feels like a send-off for him, so we can have Gatwell because he's the new Doctor. But we need the answer for why he has this face. Did we answer that? No. So maybe this is all still just a joke, and maybe they're in the Toymaker's world still, and they thought they got out. Who knows? All enjoyable. I will say that these episodes are kind of confusing, but maybe that's because I'm too stupid to get them anyway. Thanks so much for watching. This has been Ulturi. You ask, we answer.